let me bring you back to politics. And I think there's been some interesting developments in politics today that demonstrate just the tough battle that Scott Morrison and the coalition have to maintain government. There's been a lot of speculation over the past year that, of course, because Scott Morrison has handled the pandemic well, I'd had some quibbles about some of this, but he's tried to handle it very, very well, certainly economically done better than most countries. I think he needed to clamp down more on the states. The states have shut down, locked down and shut borders far too often. But there's no doubt across the country, whether you're looking at state governments or the federal government, we've done better than just about any country on the planet. So plenty of credit to go about there. But there's been a suggestion, I suppose, especially with the federal government throwing around so much money with various stimulus packages and JobKeeper and the like, that he's going to cruise to an election victory probably late this year or early next year, more likely early next year. Well, earlier in the week, we saw that under Newspoll, he's slipped behind, a bit too far out from an election to worry too much about the polls, but he has slipped behind. Some more important news came today with some federal government or Federal Electoral Office, Federal Electoral Commission redistributions. And what we've seen here is effectively the coalition lose a seat in Western Australia and the opposition pick up a seat in Victoria with another coalition seat going right to a knife edge. So the government really, at the moment, if under the new boundaries, is effectively in minority government. That's how tough it is for Scott Morrison and his team. They effectively have to come from behind at the next election. They have to improve. There is no margin for them. And it got worse today with that redistribution. And it gets worse again, I think, going back to Nicole Flint, as I sat next to her at this function near her electorate in Boothby. There's no new candidate there in Boothby yet. She, as the sitting member, won't be there to get a personal vote and deliver it for the Liberals. So there's another seat that might be much harder for the Liberals to hang on to at the next election because of an outgoing sitting member. So the game is on here in a political sense. Federal elections are always close, are always tough. But anyone who thought the coalition was going to sail to a victory, after today, surely you've got to understand it's a real fight. And they've got to start fighting hard. Scott Morrison and the coalition team need to fight back harder than they have been on the big issues that matter to people, on the values in this country, on curbing the expansion of government after it's been rolled out during this COVID response. So that's my observation about where we are in federal politics at the moment. It just got a hell of a lot harder for Scott Morrison.